Have you ever heard of a man who stole a lot of paintings worth $19 billion from 7 different countries without anyone catching him? How did this happen? Were the stolen items recovered? What happened to the thief? Stay tuned to the end of the story to find out. Welcome everybody to our channel. In March 1997, in the Swiss town of Greiz, there was a French tourist named Stefan Breitwieser who came with his girlfriend Anne-Catherine to visit one of the old castles there, called Greiz Castle, which dates back to the Middle Ages. This castle was a museum full of old works of art, and among those works of art was a wonderful and distinctive painting of a woman wearing a dress, and whoever looks at it thinks she is looking at him, and this painting was by the German artist Christian Wilhelm Dieter. Stefan and Anne were wandering around the castle and enjoying watching those works of art, and while they were wandering, Stefan saw that painting and was very impressed with it to the extent that he began to think about owning it. So he decided to steal it. So he told his girlfriend about it, and her reaction was that she had agreed to that. So she guarded the place so that their matter would not be discovered. Then Stefan went to the painting and took out a screwdriver. Then he unscrewed the frame. Then he took the painting and wrapped it and put it inside his long coat. Then he left the museum with his girlfriend, and the theft operation was completed without anyone discovering their matter. After Stefan succeeded in stealing that painting, he began to think about stealing more paintings. So he and Catherine began to visit different museums in Europe and steal paintings. And they were targeting museums that did not have tight security in order not to discover their matter. And they were carrying out those thefts by Catherine guarding the corridor where the painting that Stefan wants to steal it. And then Stefan uses a radio receiver to change the direction of the surveillance cameras. And then he steals the painting and hides it inside his long coat. Afterwards, he would unscrew the screws of the painting frame with a screwdriver. Then he would take the painting and wrap it and put it inside his coat. He had carried out many thefts in this way in different museums in Europe, and his case had not been discovered. There were also museums where he had carried out the theft operation several times, and he had stolen more than one painting from them. The number of thefts that Stefan had carried out reached 240 from 172 different art exhibitions in Europe, and they are located in 7 different countries. But despite all those paintings that he had stolen, and which had reached a value of about $1.9 billion according to the New York Times, Stefan did not sell any of those paintings in order to benefit from them financially, despite the fact that his financial circumstances were not very good. He worked as a waiter in a restaurant, and his girlfriend Catherine was a nurse. They lived in the attic of Stefan's mother's house. The reason he did not sell those paintings and benefit from their price is that he stole them because he liked them, and because he loved the art in the paintings. Therefore, he did not sell any of them, but he would hang them on the wall of the room in which he lived. This matter is one of the reasons that made it difficult for the police to track him down, as it is known that art thieves are caught while trying to sell their stolen goods. Since Stefan did not sell them, this made the task of apprehending him very difficult. Despite all the paintings that Stefan had stolen, he wanted more. In 1997, something happened that almost changed everything. In that year, Stefan was with Catherine at one of the museums in Switzerland. There was a painting that Stefan liked and decided to steal. Catherine stood to watch the place as usual, and Stefan went to steal the painting in the usual way. After he finished the theft and put the painting in his coat, he and Catherine went to the museum door to leave. At the door, one of the guards noticed that Stefan was trying to hide something, so he suspected something. He made a tour of the museum, and he noticed the disappearance of one of the paintings. He rushed to Stefan when he had gotten into his car and was about to leave, and the guard stood in front of the car and ordered Stefan to stop. Since that area was full of policemen, due to the fact that the police station was located near the museum, Stefan had no other choice, so he surrendered and was arrested and detained. On the second day, Stefan's trial began, and during the trial, he began to cry and pretend that he was very sorry and that he did not want to steal that painting, and that he felt a desire to own it. He said that he felt regret for what he did and that it was the first time in his life that he did something like this. The judge was convinced by Stefan's words, and because the painting that Stefan was caught stealing was not one of the very high-value paintings, and because Stefan had no criminal record, he received a lenient sentence, which was to remain under surveillance for 8 months, and not to be allowed to enter Switzerland during this period. After that incident, Stefan did not stop stealing art paintings, but he continued to do so for a long time. After 4 years, Stefan decided to return to Switzerland, and he was saying to himself that the theft he had committed there had been forgotten, and that he could go there without any problems. He traveled to Switzerland with Catherine to the same city where he was arrested. Upon arriving, they went to one of the museums. In that museum, Stefan was impressed with a trumpet and decided to steal it. Catherine watched the place as usual, and Stefan began to steal the trumpet. It was more difficult than stealing paintings, and after he succeeded in stealing it, he put it in his long coat and headed to the door with Catherine to leave the place. He was successful in doing so and the theft was successful. However, there was a guard who was suspicious of them but did not tell them anything. The next day, Stefan and Catherine returned to the same museum to steal one of the paintings. Catherine started watching, and Stefan went to steal the painting. After he finished stealing it and put it in his coat, he turned behind him to find something completely unexpected, which is that the guards were surrounding him and standing behind him. They had seen everything he did, so he was arrested and detained. The guards were watching him because the guard who was suspicious of him recognized him when he came to the museum for the second time, so he decided to watch him. Anyway, after Stefan was arrested, the police began to investigate him. He told them that he did not intend to commit that theft, but the police did not believe him. Then, the investigators searched the records to learn more about Stefan. They knew about the theft he had committed in that city 4 years ago. They knew that Stefan was a thief of paintings and art, and they put the possibility that he may have committed many thefts without being exposed. After that, the Swiss police contacted the French police to inform them about the case. The French police sent a patrol to search Stefan's room in his mother's house. When police officers arrived at Stefan's mother's house, they rang the bell. Stefan's mother opened the door for them. They showed her the search warrant and then entered the house and went up to Stefan's room. When they entered it, they found that they did not find any paintings in it, although Stefan used to hang the paintings he stole on the wall of his room. The reason the police were unable to find anything in Stefan's room is that Catherine, when she saw the police arresting Stefan, immediately contacted Stefan's mother and told her to hide all the paintings in the attic. The mother burned some of the paintings and threw the others in the canal in the city, and thus she got rid of all the paintings that her son had stolen. One day, someone noticed some paintings floating in the canal. He contacted the police, and the police arrived and then removed the paintings that were there. After that, the news spread everywhere and reached the Swiss police. One of the investigators thought to himself that there must be a connection between Stefan and the paintings that were found in Stefan's city. He went to Stefan, who did not know anything about what had happened, and the investigator told him what had happened and that they had found all the paintings he was hiding. Stefan could not deny anything and began to confess everything. The police were surprised by many of the thefts that Stefan confessed to. After that, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but he was released after serving 2 years in prison. Catherine was imprisoned for 6 months because she was helping Stefan in his thefts. As for Stefan's mother, she was sentenced to 1.5 years in prison for destroying those paintings. Now, this is the end of the story. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Write for us your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends.